I call on private and local order of the day number 1.
Royal Society of New Zealand Amendment Bill, committee stage continued.
I declare the House in committee for further consideration of the Royal Society of New Zealand Amendment Bill.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Chairman.
Who's it calling? Was it me? I don't know. The House and Committee for further consideration of the Royal Society of New Zealand Amendment Bill. Members, when we last considered the bill, debate on Clause 8 was in progress. Chris Farfoy has the call and he's got 3.5 minutes remaining should he wish to avail himself of that opportunity. Dr. Ashraf Chowdhury is seeking the call.
I wasn't sure that I was the first one up. Anyway, I'm delighted to have this opportunity again to speak on this very important bill. That's right. It is really very important for people of New Zealand and the scientific community and the humanities people. This bill is going to include humanities subject in the Royal Society. And this particular clause, Mr. Chairman, is number 8. It's regarding the scientific technology research, and that word to be substituted with the research in science, technology, the humanities. And I think this is a very significant change. These few words is a very significant change in this bill because, as I said earlier in my earlier discussion, that there is a significant difference between science, research and technology. I know some of my colleagues probably don't quite agree that there's a difference between science and research. Can I say, Mr. Chairman, that science, the word science, comes from scientia, a Latin word, which means knowledge. Now, this is very important for the doctor to know that science word comes from scientia, which is a Latin word, which means knowledge. So there's a difference between knowledge and research. So knowledge, science is actually about creating knowledge, whereas the research is something you actually do to achieve scientific results or make technology as a follow-up to the research. And it's very important to understand, Mr. Chairman, to understand what's the meaning of research, because research is something we do to prove some of these theories, whether it's an existing problem or it's a new problem, to prove that we need to do research. So this is something very different from science. Science is knowledge. In this case, we are saying, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, that we want to change the word from scientific and technological research to research in science, technology and humanities. So including humanities, because as I said earlier, it's sort of 144 years, we've been really involved just science, not talking, not worrying about impacts of that science onto humans, on animals, on environment. So this is a very important part of this bill, is to include humanities so we can understand how it impacts on our society. The work we do, whether it's in a medicine, or it's in agriculture, or it's in atomic energy, for example, we got to understand how it impacts the human beings, how it impacts the environment, how it impacts our waters, how it impacts our lifestyles. So I think it's very important, it's timely that we have included humanities. And now Dr. Rajan Prasad, who's worked all his life in humanities areas. So he probably understands some of the work that we have done, scientists who have done. So he has, and like others, have actually tried to implement or see how or what effect the science, whether it's agriculture or whatever science area you have, that had impact on the humanities. And I think it's very important for us to understand that humanities got to be part of the Royal Society's work, because we have for too long ignored the people who have done a lot of research, creating knowledge, creating science, that they have had very little understanding how it might impact on the humanities, on our waters, on our environment. And I think this is significant work that is going on in a lot of universities in New Zealand. People who are not necessarily involved with science itself, but they are there doing research on understanding of how the scientific products, scientific innovations, how they impact the daily life of our people. So I'm delighted, Mr. Chairman, to have this opportunity to speak on this bill, on this clause, particularly where we're including talking about the dividends. Thank you.
Just before I take the next call, I just would like to refresh members' minds that we're on Clause 8, which is about no dividend or profit to members. Dr. Cam Calder.
I move the question be now put.